What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Monster Bass channel. We got Paul with Burley Fishing here. It is a very late fall day. It's pretty late. This is second week of November. It's cold. Well, it's coldish. It's like 61. We're like very fortunate right now, but it's windy and the water temp is at this is the warmest I've seen, 54 degrees. It's like 4 o'clock. So we are not talking fall fishing. We're talking later fall fishing. Now, one of my favorite lures year round. It does not matter what time of year. There's not really too many bad times of year for it. I want to talk to you guys about the Lipless. This is one of my favorite baits. I'm going to give you 3 retrieves, and I'm going to give you 3 tips to figure out how to use your Lipless to the highest effect possible. Now, 3 tips for fishing Lipless. Let's start there. Number 1, do not be afraid. Wow, I got line flying around everywhere. Do not be afraid to throw that Lipless into a little bit of cover. Now, by cover, I mean sticks and stumps. Now, let me show you why. Now, this is the Strike King Red Eye Shad. You see that nose right there, that flat nose? That means this bad boy is gonna run nose down and tail up, and it's gonna flutter sideways with like a consistent retrieve. The nose being down, the hooks are pointed backwards, that is gonna bump those stumps. You're not gonna get hung up as much. Now, there's an asterisk there. You certainly are gonna be hung up eventually. You're running 6 different hooks. It's a little bit of a gamble, but I'm telling you, there are fish in there and they are looking for a lipless. So if you see wood and you're thinking chatterbait and that's not quite right, go ahead, step back a little bit from that down tree and throw yourself a lipless that's got that aggressive nose. Next up is, Texas rig. People talk a lot about, okay, pull it up, let it flutter down, pull it up, let it down, pull it up, let it down. That is a wonderful, wonderful way to go ahead and fish a lipless. Now, when I'm looking for a lipless like that, I might be looking for one that's got maybe a different body shape. This one right here is like a Rick Clun. You see how it's got that really tapered tail right there? And it's got a big head. That means gigantic casts. That means big action and a little bit of a different vibration. And also, it's gonna be super loud. That bad boy is rattling. Sounds like there's a can of soda in there, can of pop if you're from the north. That is gonna mean that you are gonna have big search ability. You can cast that super far out, you can cast super deep. You can let that thing fall. It's gonna fall pretty fast. I think that one's a 3/4 ounce. And you're gonna be calling in fish from pretty far away. So use that as a search bait in deeper water. And last but not least, grab yourself a slightly smaller profile. This is the 1 knock. There you go, the 1 knock. I think we got this one last year actually from Monster Bass in the craw color. This is one of my favorite colors for fishing shallow. So that's my tip number 3 is fish shallow. Grab yourself go away line. When you're fishing shallow, you're gonna want something that's lighter, a little bit smaller, and something that you can really burn. Go ahead and get yourself an 8-to-1 retrieve speed reel, super fast reel, and I promise you can 1 foot of water and you can really hunt some fish down. I'm telling you, they're there and they're looking for a lipless. All right, now 3 things you should be looking at when you're looking at your lipless. 1 is gonna be the thickness. This is one of those old school Billoos. They are freaking awesome. You can't go wrong with these, but they're super slim and trim. They work well in a lot of different scenarios, but I like these most when fishing over grass personally. And it's that slim profile that lets it really gives you a lot of control as you're choosing your depth. It really reacts well to changes in speed and rod tip. They're also usually a little bit on the lighter side. So again, really allows you to dial in the depth. So I like those for going over grass. The next thing you're gonna wanna think about other than profile is sound. Everything, you can get everything from a silent up into, this one is called the 2-tap from Strike King. And it is, you can see that right there. It's got tungsten and I think it's got a couple of different ball bearings in there, but it gives it a really sort of like hefty, deeper knock sound. The 1 knock, totally different. 1 heavy ball bearing, and then you can even get some that are silent. They all have different applications. I like silence in the spring a lot of times, in the early spring, and then when I'm fishing deeper water, I'm searching, I want something a little bit louder, or later in the year, I want something a little bit louder. Something that we talked about already is my number 3 tip thing to look at. Look at the profile of that nose. If you see an aggressively steep nose, one that's flat, it's got that bait's likely built and designed to deflect off cover. It's going to be a quality bait for deflecting off cover and fishing in places where maybe you've got some rocks or some scattered sticks. Something that's a little more rounded, like the Clun that we were talking about, is going to be a little bit better for further casting, maybe a little bit better as a search bait. Not necessarily. Are you joking me? Are you joking me right now? I promise you it's fall. It's gonna be better for a search bait out in open water. Now, those are the 3 things that we're looking at. So, you know, for me, again, there's really not a bad time in the year to fish a lipless. I say grab it with confidence, be excited to fish it, and just get after it. Another bait that we haven't talked about is one that came in the November box. I actually have not gotten my November box yet, but I do happen to have one of these, and that is the Sergeant from Thunderhawk. Really cool bait. I'll show you guys that one in a minute on the water. I'm sorry in advance. It is windier than heck, and I do have to go fish in the wind, so you're gonna get some of that wind, so I apologize for that. But we're gonna check that bait out. I'm really excited to fish it. So we're gonna go fish that. I'll show it to you, and then we'll wrap this bad boy up, probably right back here, because it's the only place with no wind. All right, so this is the Thunderhawk Sergeant. So this is a 3/4 ounce. This one, you can hear that, hopefully does have the rattle. The one that comes in the Monster Bass box, I believe, is a silent, and I think it's only a 1/2 ounce. I could be wrong, I don't really know. I haven't gotten mine yet. But this one is a 3/4 ounce loud. So for me, this is springtime. So yes, in some ways, I was really thinking like kind of preparing for spring. This may be one of the last times we get out for the fall. I know it's like gorgeous out right now. Gorgeous. It's like 17-mile-per-hour winds, 60 degrees, but that is really gorgeous for like a later fall. So it's like early November right now as of the filming of this. But yeah, this is that Sergeant. This is really springtime. So I got this awesome craw. There's like a pearl luminescence. I'm hoping you guys can see that right there. There's like a pearl luminescence on it. Really cool craw pattern. Red and orange. You really can't go wrong, especially in the springtime. This is a killer. Works great in the fall too though. So yeah, let's get this thing opened up. You know, the crazy thing about a lipless, like there are almost no bad situations to throw a lipless. Right now I am in, check, 3.3 feet of water. I got a cool pinch point like right here that I'm gonna try and fish, where it goes down to like 5 feet, but it really pinches in. So we're gonna check a couple of spots out, but really 3 feet of water, you can absolutely burn this thing and it is going to be effective. In super deep water, you can yo-yo it up and down off the bottom, and it's gonna vibrate like side to side as it goes up, side to side, up and down, and it's gonna flutter down, vibrate up. You really gotta look at the nose of this thing. Let me open it up so you actually see the bait itself. Yeah, check it out. There we go. Get out of here, trash. All right. So if you look at the nose, this is where this thing is really unique. I don't think I've seen one that has like this really pronounced curve right here and then a hump back. Now I've seen some that have the hump back, and they're typically like a little bit more deep water fishers. The ones like the Strike King that you typically will get, like the red eye shad, which is a great one, you know, for all year round, but really is good in spring. It works so well because those ones with the flat aggressive nose, they tend to ride up like this. The hooks tend to trail backwards and you don't get hooked up and stuff. So that's really one that's made for bumping. I don't necessarily know how this thing's gonna run. I have a feeling it's gonna be a little bit of bump and cover, which is great because I'm gonna be burning it today. So yeah, you can burn these things up shallow, you can run them deep, you can run them over grass. Now yes, you may get hooked up for sure, but that's, you know, that's the name of the game. So while I'm getting tied up here, let's talk about the type of rod that you're gonna want to use. I would like to see personally something like a very standard rod setup. I would like to see a 7-foot 7-1 medium heavy fast action. I know that like sounds, it doesn't sound like it's hyper specific, and there's a reason for that. I don't want a crank and stick, even though you think it might make sense, because there are gonna be times where I'm really gonna want to burn this, and there are going to be times when you know, when I don't want to burn this and I really need a little bit of leverage when I'm yo-yoing this deeper, and so I don't want like a moderate action. I do want sensitivity because I need to know right when I start to hit those that cover down below. So if I'm in tall grass, I need to know the second I start to hit some of that so I can speed up my retriever, lift my rod tip. The other thing too is I do want to cast far, so you could go with a 7.4 for sure. I do want distance. Accuracy is not critical unless I'm pitching into some wood and burning it back fast. So, you know, for me, I think a 7.1, 7.4, 7 foot, somewhere in that range, medium heavy is probably the way to go. You can go straight braid on a lot of this. I let water clarity determine whether or not I'm using a leader. Today I have a leader because I already had one on, and it's a stout leader. I'm using fluoro, not mono. You can use mono though, especially with a little bit shorter leader, if you're gonna cast real far. These things will cast incredibly far. They're great search baits, so feel free to, again, if you're using a 7.4, you know, if you go straight braid, but feel free to use mono. Why is mono gonna help you? Well, if you have a backlash and you get a big wind up cast and this thing is heavy and it's gonna fly, that mono might be the thing that keeps it from snapping off because there's some stretch in that mono. But I do love the fluoro, especially if you're ripping out a cover. And I think go a little heavier. I think I've got 15 on, and that's my recommendation. Maybe 20-30 pound braid, 15-ish pound fluoro is a good, just like, rule of thumb. Really, again, it depends on the situation, but there's really no wrong answer again, and there's no wrong place to fish this bait. Oh wow, holy, the haters will say it's fake, but I caught a fish. Yeah. Oh, wake bait. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Holy crap. Whoa, 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 whoa. Got him. Oh my God. Yes. Woo! Oh, he was stuck too. Woo! That is a nice fish. Like, yo. Ah. Holy smokes, I just got my butt handed to me. Rough day out on the water, not gonna lie. But I do hope that some of these tips and tricks were helpful for you. I hope you picked up something, and hopefully as you're shopping for a lipless, or you're looking around and thinking like, I only have maybe one, and you kind of want something that's a little bit different, hopefully now you can start to differentiate one lipless from another. And hopefully you picked up some tips on which lipless to grab in certain situations. If you haven't already, please smash the like button, ring that notifications bell so you can see when Monster Bass posts the next video, and come check out Burley Fishing. We do fun unboxings, fishing videos, a lot of kayak fishing on our channel, and we have a new podcast, The Aggressively Average Angler, every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, so come check us out there, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. See you.